I'm Genndy Tartakovsky. I'm the creator and director of Samurai Jack.
I'm Tyler Bates, composer of Samurai Jack.
Gotta get back to the past. Samurai Jack.
Film is an experience. As I started making more cartoons, I realized how important the sound is. I think a lot of times we take it for granted, but then, when there's a piece of music that successfully helps you tell the emotion, all of a sudden it elevates it to another thing. For Samurai Jack, when we started doing the first season, I left a lot of room for it, because we did from Dexterous through Powerpuff. There was so much dialogue, right? I always felt like I'm stepping on the music in some ways, even though it was the beginning. For Jack, I was like, I'm gonna have big 2-3 minute sequences where the music is gonna tell the story. And what that did, it started to have a different style, and the show took on a different kind of visceral meaning with it. And so the sound and the visuals became one.
Well, before Genndy and I ever worked together on Symbionic Titan, I watched Samurai Jack knowing Genndy, and I actually, it did make an impression on me how much space there was in the show, given oftentimes the incredible density of sound in animated shows. And it drew me into the actual storytelling more than it just feeling like a cartoon.
So then we've got Jack firing, and this will be all sound effects and no music. Let's go to the trigger, and then and that'll get real hardcore.
When we spot an episode of a show, Genndy provides us sound effects, dialogue, and music, beatbox style, which is so refreshing because there's no temp music, there's really no temp effects, and so it allows us to engage our imagination immediately in that moment.
Usually we'll have a new episode that's all edited down and ready to go, and they'll come in and we'll watch a sequence, and I already have some ideas if I want sound here or not. And so we start doing it. Either I'll do a vocal, some kind of, and it's more like a rhythmic situation. And now we'll put it suspended. Kind of back into it. Pacing and mood is probably the most important, because it's easy to go dun 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 for every single sequence, and it'll work great. But as a whole, all of a sudden, it's a complete wash.
There's motivation for every piece of music in the show, whereas oftentimes the tack might be, well, let's just cover everything. At some point as a composer, when you're covering everything, you can lose your understanding for what the true motivation of the music is.
And that's a huge point, actually, where there is just too much music in everything that we watch, and for the most part, and it washes over, and I hate that. That's such a pet peeve, to waste a cue just for filler, where it says nothing. Like even working, doing some feature films, even the composers are used to doing it. So they go, you want us just to fill here? I'm like, what? No. No, the dialogue is the dialogue here. You don't need any accent, any additional stuff to it. Just let it go, and then we'll get to, and what it does, like Tyler was saying, it makes the music more special when it does come in. You appreciate it more, and there's nothing worse to me than just having music wash the whole thing, and most films are like that. I started to really defining the sequences, where this is going to be sound effects heavy, this is going to be music heavy, and a lot of times I'll start with both, like music and sound effects playing together, and then the sound effects go away and just the music plays through, and your mind fills in the rest, The
thing that's great is the DNA of what this music is created here in this conversation. It's not referencing things that were crafted for other stories. And so I think that gives us a greater latitude to create something that solely belongs to Samurai Jack. It's part of the culture of what the show is.
For Jack, I wanted the next level. You know, I think, you know, it's 15 years ago we did the other show, and this show's for Adult Swim. It's edgier, it's so much more emotional, it's, there's a different vibe to it. You know, we've all grown as filmmakers, and so I wanted the music to grow also, you know?
It's exciting though, because it's somewhat of a new musical direction for Samurai Jack, and we're developing that now, and it's just cool to see what it's becoming. You know, the curation of this idea is it's fun.
Watch out.